Hello, everybody. How's everything going today? My name is Casey Stubbs. I'm here to talk about 4 steps to take your life from failing to winning. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a failure, but maybe there's some areas in your life that you need improvement on. And maybe you failed in one area last year, and that's what you want to win at. Every single year, or actually not just every year, but all the time, I am constantly doing an evaluation process in my own personal life. I look at what I accomplished in the year. I looked at what I didn't accomplish. I look at what I did well, and I look at what I need to do better. And that review process is what helps me to make decisions going forward. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to share with you exactly what you need to do to make those areas successful in your life. And many of you that follow me are traders, as I like to trade and do education with trading. And so it's going to be focused on that. But you know, one of the things that I think a lot of trading coaches fail at talking about is talking about traders as people, because we live our lives and we are a whole person. We're not an individual that has compartments. Our life does have compartments, but they make up a whole. So if you focus just on your trading and you don't focus on any of the other areas in your life, and even if you're an amazing trader and you have all of the disciplines there, the rest of your life is not in order, then that will bleed into your trading and it can cause damage there. So when you're preparing, it's really important to look at the whole picture, your whole person. Just as you know, every single person is a mind, spirit, and body. We have 3 parts to us, and we have to take care of all of that. And if we don't take care of our body, the rest of us suffers. Or if we don't take care of our mind, then the rest suffers. We have to look at the whole picture, and the same thing is in trading. So today I'm going to talk about the whole picture, and I am going to drill in on trading today. So you might be wondering exactly a little bit about myself. My name is Casey Stubbs, and why you should listen to me. Well, I've been in the trading education business for 6 years. I started in 2009, but even more than that, I have used these principles that I'm going to teach you about planning, setting goals, and strategy for your life. I've used them in every area of my life since I was young, and I have accomplished a great many things in my life. I was in the military. I have had several successful businesses. I've been successful in raising my family. I have 9 children. I'm married with 9 children. I'm successful in business. I'm successful in trading. I'm successful in many different areas in my life. And as a matter of fact, no matter what area that I'm in, I'm successful. And that's not an accident. It's something that happens because of certain things that I do. And I'm not bragging saying that I'm a great person, because I'm not a great person. I'm not special. There's nothing special about me, except for the fact that, you know, all human life is precious. So I'm special in that fact that, so I put a high value on myself. But what I'm saying that to tell you that these things that you see me do, I'm sharing with you because you can accomplish them in your life as well. And one thing I forgot is that we're going to be online for about 45 minutes today, and then if we have any questions after that, I would be glad to take some questions. So just hang in there. You can email me or type them in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to help you out with your questions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to talk about 4 steps for planning, and preparation is critical in life. As a matter of fact, if you're not preparing and you're not planning, it's a guaranteed thing that you are going to fail. I mean, it's just, you're planning to do something, whether you're planning whether you know it or not. If you're not planning, then you're just planning to let life take you and do whatever life wants with you, and that you aren't really that concerned about your own life that it's just, you're just going to go with the flow. Preparation and planning is so important, and I believe it's one of the first critical keys to success in your life. So the first step that I actually have is step one, is that make the decision. You have to plan and prepare and make that decision in your life that you're going to do something, because if you don't, life will control you. So if you don't decide to control your life, you're just going to go wherever life takes you. And so the very first step is that you have to make that decision, that you're going to plan, that you're going to be prepared, that you're going to win at life, that life isn't going to make your decisions for you, that you're going to do it. You're going to call the shots, and you're going to be in control. And that's one of the things that I've made the decision about, and I'm just going to stick with it. And so that doesn't mean that you don't ever fail. Let's say that you make the decision and you don't succeed. Well, then you just go ahead and stick with it and make the decision again. You follow up. You keep going. You don't stop when times are tough, or when your plan doesn't go, or even when you make a mistake, because I have made humongous mistakes in my planning, in my execution, in everything. But here's one thing that is really good about me, is that when I do make a mistake, I don't run from it. I don't hide from it. I don't hide from my mistakes and pretend that they didn't happen. I face them and I say, this was a big mistake. I'm not a perfect person. And then I would say, what can I do to get it right? So step one is to make the decision, but you also have to be open to change and open to evaluation. And I know that a lot of people will come to me for advice, and they will ask for counsel and insight. And when they say, oh, well, I want to hear what you have to say. And then when I say something about something I see that is wrong or needs it correcting, then they will get defensive and say, well, that's okay, or I know that that's wrong, but I'm not going to change it. That seems to be the most common things. They know that it's wrong, but they're not going to change it. So let me ask you this question. I want you to be honest with yourself. Do you know that there are things in your life that are holding you back from success, and yet you refuse to change them? If that's the case, then I can't help you today, and no one else can help you. You are stuck, and you're going to stay stuck because you're going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. Because in order to be successful, you must be willing to change. You have to change the things that are not working. You have to be open to receive feedback from others into your life that explains and shares with how to improve. Now, when I tell somebody something that may be wrong that I see, I'm not saying it because I want to bash them, or because I think they're not good people. It's because I want them to improve. And so you have to want to improve. That's why step one is to make the decision. And planning and preparation is so important. And actually, I have a story about today in my life. I've been successful, and I'm blessed, and I'm thankful for all of the great things that I've accomplished in my life. I've got a great family, but a lot of difficult things happen in my life that I have to overcome. And even this morning on my way to work, I knew that I had this training that I was going to give, so I was going to go to work early and get all ready. However, it snowed. I had about 2 inches of snow in my driveway, and I live on this beautiful farm, and I have this nice big driveway that goes down this really steep hill. And I have to plow that driveway in the morning to get out of the driveway. Well, this morning I went into my barn to get into my snowplow, which I have to plow that driveway to get up it, or else I'm going to be at home in the winter. Well, I went to start my car, my snowplow, and the starter didn't work. And I was stuck. I couldn't get my car up the driveway. I'm like, oh, great, I got this training today. I can't get into work. What's going to happen? Well, my wife has a four-wheel drive. I've got a little mini car. My wife's got a four-wheel drive. And so she's like, okay, I'll take you to work. So we got in the four-wheel drive. She drove me up the driveway, and I got to work just in time to do this. But fortunately, I spent the time preparing. I have had all my notes ready. I spent several hours preparing the content and the material so that I would give you the best presentation, the best information that you could possibly have. And so that even though today didn't go according to my plan, I still am able to execute and overcome the obstacle because of my preparation and my planning. And that planning and work, hard work that goes into it, will then overflow into the difficult times. Now, if I was totally lazy and didn't have anything prepared, then I might not have made it to work on time, or by the time I got here, I wouldn't have had anything ready, and it would have been a poor presentation. It would have been maybe not even have been able to happen. But because of the planning and preparation, I was able to bring this to you today. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you can learn some things from it. So I'm just saying all that to say that please make the decision to do some preparation and planning in your own life. Okay, so now the next step in your planning is now that you've made the decision to do a successful plan, you got to know where to start. There's got to be a foundation and a place where you're starting when you're making your plan for your life. And that is where your core values come into play. So what is a core value? A core value is something in your life that is extremely important to you. Something that you really care about. And when your goals and plans are all said and done, if these things are not accomplished, then it was a failure. For example, maybe one of your core values is to, I'll share mine, is to have a great relationship with my family and with my wife. My wife first and then my family second. That's a core value to me. If I make all of the money in the world and I'm a rich man and yet I don't have that, I am a failure. Like, do you get that? Like, if I'm wealthy and alone and they don't care about me and they think that all I care about is money and all I care about is work and all I care about is success, well then I have missed my goal in life and I've wasted all of my time. Okay, so we don't want to work and waste our time. We don't want our life to count for something that we didn't plan out ahead of time. So my core values are, obviously, first, I'm putting God first in my life. Second is my family. And then from there, it's providing and having success. So they're in order. And so when I'm making a plan for the year, I always include strategically how I will set those things up in place. Now, one of the things that is a very large pitfall and dangerous area for people is that they will begin to go forward with a plan, and yet they don't have their core values in place, and they're easily swept away. I know many, many, many business owners, and that also includes traders, because trading is a business, that get so caught up in their work that then they lose sight of the things that are important. And then they start to work every night, they start to work late, they start losing their relationship with their family, they become distant, and you think that it's really important because this work must be done. It must be done. But you're missing your key value. And if you don't plan, life will just take over. Life has a way of happening so fast, and before you know it, you look back and 3 years down the road, you're like, well, how did this happen? I did not plan for this. I didn't want it. Well, the reason is because you let life control you and you did not take control of your life. So write out, just take a piece of paper, get all distractions aside, and look and see what your core values are. They could include passions, things that you enjoy doing, like traveling. Is that a core value? Is it important to you that you have some time for travel? Family. Do you like certain things? Do you like to, computers or smartphones, or, learning education? Do you like to do education? Include all of those things in your core values. And as you have those foundations, they will help you plan when things get tough. Another important thing about a core value is that it will help give you the power to do things that don't feel good. Because let me give you a personal example. One of my core values is to maintain a strong and solid relationship with my wife. So that means that sometimes I have to do things that maybe I don't want to do. And maybe even stuff that's hard for me. Like, for example, one of the things that I do is I get up early in the morning and I spend time with my wife. We both get up together, we have a cup of coffee, we read, we talk, we share things. And I do this before I go to work. And when I've been working a lot, maybe I've had to stay up late, and then getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning doesn't feel good that day. And I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll just take a day off. But then I remember, why am I doing this in the first place? It's so that I will be able to maintain that relationship with my wife. Okay, so now all of a sudden when I'm tired and I don't feel like doing this, I remember that. And so I have that core value in place, and that gives me the ability to do this thing which I don't want to do. And it also helps me to do things that maybe are more unselfish, where I'll be thinking of others, because if other people are part of my core value and showing the value that I place on them in my life, well, then I will do things that are not selfish because they're in my core values. Otherwise, I'm just going to do what I want to do all the time. And to be honest, if you always do what you want to do, and if you're always selfish in your life, you are not going to be a successful person. You might have a lot of money. I guess it depends on what your definition of success. Because if having everything that you want and what you think you deserve and all the money in the world, if that's your definition of success, then I guess you're successful. But I will tell you that you won't be as happy, because having fulfilled relationships and financial success are things that are very important, and it's important to maintain a balance with those things. So setting your core values is a key component to setting your plans for 2015 or for your life. So the next thing, now that you have your core values, the third step is to write out your mission statement, or what some people call a vision narrative. It's a statement that says where you want to be at the end of the year. Or if you want to go further, maybe you want to write one out for 5 years, or maybe you want to write out for 1 year. So let's just use trading as an example, but I like to include, like I said, the entire life. So I'll just share what I wrote. I want to serve God fully, improve my relationship with my wife and my family while achieving profitability in my trading and in business. So that's where I want to be at the end of the year. I want to be profitable. That's the last thing, but I want to have improved relationships with my family. That's my vision, okay? So you think about your core values, you think about the things that you want to accomplish, and then you write out a statement. Really take some time to think about it. Ask other people, get feedback on what they see you doing. How do they see you as being successful? One of the important things in life, and especially for trading, is to get feedback. I talked a lot about, in an article I just published yesterday, about writing a trading plan. To get feedback from other people about that plan, you need to be talking to other people in your life. You need to be inviting their input. The more that you invite in and the more that you give out, the better you're going to be at having success in your life. I know for traders, this isn't taught very much, but if you're not interacting with other traders, if you're just behind the computer screen and you're just trying to do it on your own, I think that you're going to have a really tough time. So I put that in my goals as getting in front of other people, inviting their feedback, letting them review my plans, getting their opinion on what they think about me. Because when I look at myself, sometimes I don't like to look at the ugly things, and I will ask somebody, I said, what are some of the worst traits that I have? What do I really need to work on? What don't you like about me? You know, I want to look at those things. And, you know, if they say that I'm a jerk or whatever, I could take that in and evaluate it. I'm not going to throw it to the ground. But if they're wrong, well, then they're wrong. It's okay. But I'm at least going to entertain it. I'm going to look at where they're coming from, and I'm going to be better for it, and I'm going to end up having more success. So as you do that, you're going to find more success in your life. So let's say you want to be a profitable trader. Well, write out your vision statement. How's that going to impact your whole life? How's it going to impact your relationships? Where do you want to be in trading? But maybe you have a job too. Maybe you're working at a company and you want to be promoted to this specific job. Well, put that in there and say, and trade profitably on the side. Or maybe, I mean, whatever it is, just put that in there. And then that will help you determine your path. So you have your core values that you don't want to forget about, because if you forget about them, you're going to get off course. So this vision statement is something you should take some time on, really think about it, and write it out and have other people look at it. So that is the third step. And then the fourth step is to use goal planning. And once you identify where you want to be, the very fourth step is to have goals. And I'm going to share something what they call SMART goals. It's a terminology that is an acronym. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and T for timeline. So all of those things should be included in your goal. Don't just say something general like, oh, I want to make $1,000. Well, that's a great goal, but it's a little broad, and you don't know how to do it. You don't know what the timeline is. You don't know if it's even realistic. You could have a goal where, you know, on the trading side that you want to make $1 million. Well, that's a great goal, and I really think it's a good thing. But on the attainable side, is it really attainable if you have a $50 account for you to make $1 million? No. So do something that is attainable, because if you're not making a goal that's attainable, then you're going to fail. And failure is good because you can learn from it, but it's also dangerous because it can bring discouragement. And if you have it so high that there's discouragement, and plus deep in your heart you know that you're never going to really attain that, it's going to bring even more discouragement, and that discouragement can lead you down the wrong path and take you off course. So make something that you can actually attain, that is achievable within your grasp. And then as you do that, then you up the game and you get a little higher. You kind of walk that ladder. And so that's something that's really important. So a SMART goal that I had for my trading is to follow my trading plan. Okay, so that's not even about making money. It's just following my trading plan. That's my SMART goal that I'm sharing with you. I have a lot of other ones, but maybe that should be your goal, because if you know right now, if you're trading and you know that you're not following your plan, or maybe you don't have a trading plan, maybe your SMART goal would be to write a trading plan. And if it is, check out the article that I wrote yesterday. It's a great article on how to write a trading plan. But anyways, my SMART goal that I want to share with you today is to follow my trading plan. And to me, it's really important because if I don't follow that plan, I know that I'll never have any success in trading. It's just luck. And we don't want to be lucky. We want to be successful. So for S, for specific, and you can, even right now as we're going, you can write down some ideas, write down your own goals. Follow along with me. Think of just one easy goal that you can do that will help you. So for S, mine is specific. It's follow my trading plan. And this means that I've written a trading plan and that I'm going to follow it. So it's very specific. M is measurable. Is it measurable? Well, I am going to plan a review session at the end of the quarter on if I actually followed up with my plan, and I'm going to bring some other people into that so that we together will hold us accountable. I need accountability in my life. I believe that you need it. On our own, we're not so good. We tend to lie to ourselves because we don't want to do the hard things. But if we get somebody who really cares about us, or even somebody that's a professional that will look at it, well, then they will tell us the truth. So that's measurable. Set it up so that you can absolutely track it. Because if there's no way to track it, then there's no way to know if you were successful. Attainable. Can it be attained? Well, for this example, following my plan, it requires trading discipline. It requires me to know what I'm doing on the front end and not fly from the seat of my pants and just go with it, not totally spontaneous, but to have a plan. But is it attainable? Yes. Those things can be done. I can have the discipline in my life to follow my trading plan. It can be done. Is it relevant? Yes. And what I mean to clarify relevant means, does it fit with your core values? Does it fit with your vision statement? If it's not in that, if it was something that was totally out there, you know, I want to start working at another corporation and, you know, doing something else, and it didn't fit in with that, well then, no, it's not relevant. But I want to make sure that it fits in. And in this case, in this goal that I used of following my trading plan, yes, it absolutely does fit within my vision plan. We don't want to do things that are going to take us off course as to what we're trying to accomplish in our life. And then the last one is timeline. Is there a timeline involved? Well, because I'm measuring it, my timeline for the first leg is quarterly. I'm going to look at it at the end of the quarter to see if I made it. So at the end of the quarter, when I review it, then I'm going to add another timeline. I want to do this for the full year, but let's just start with a small step. Let me see if I can do it for the first quarter. So in review, the 4 steps of planning your life is, number 1 is you want to make that decision that you're going to do it. Number 2 is you're going to set your core values. Number 3 is write your mission statement or your vision narrative. And number 4 is to have goals, smart, strategic, thought out goals that will help you achieve your plan and help you become successful in life. If you do those things, then I can guarantee that you will be successful in your life. So there was my alarm for the stock market is starting. So for those of you that are trading, the market's now open. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is review period. In the 4 steps to planning your goal, I could have put this as a 5th step, but I'm just going to say that you must review this often and do it on purpose. Remember we talked earlier about letting life just take you away? Well, if you don't do things on purpose, if you don't live your life on purpose, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be busy. In today's world, we have smartphones and computers and, you know, so many things with all of the busyness of life. If you're not on purpose, you're going to miss it. So the other day I was on the phone with somebody and he's like, oh man, you must be really busy. And I said, you know what? I'm not busy. I'm living my life on purpose. I don't ever feel busy. I feel like I'm following my plan. It's not an accident. Now, if you're busy and everything's running around and you're like a crazy person going from here to there, then you're not going to be following your plan. So have a review session that is written down. Put the date on your calendar Set aside a couple hours to go over all of your goals. Mine is going to be quarterly. I'm going to go over all of my goals. I'm going to see where I'm at. And then I'm going to review them with someone else, and then I'm going to retool. Maybe something didn't work, and I need to change the strategy. Maybe I set a goal and I totally forgot about it. Well, then I'm just going to start over and say, this goal is still important to me. It's still valid. It's still relevant. I'm going to make sure that I do what I need to do to accomplish this. That's why the review process happens, because if you don't review, you forget. 2 years later, you're like, oh, whatever happened to that project? You know, you might have wanted to build something in your backyard, build a shed, and the lumber's still sitting there and you never got to it and it's starting to rot. Unfinished projects are a terrible thing, and they hurt you because you wanted to do it and it just kind of is this drain on you. And so when you start something, make sure you finish it and have a review process on what you're going to do with it. So I don't know, maybe you can relate to this. Let me know. Can you think about something that you started but you never finished? I know there's plenty of things in my life that I started that I never finished. And even now, even as I make these goals right now and plan out this year, there's things that I didn't do. And I started an educational series that I wanted to do to better my education. I paid for the course, I bought the books, and that was 3 years ago, and I still haven't done it. And so now I got to look back at it and say, okay, is this still something I want to do? Well, if it is, I need to make the time for it. I need to go back and make sure that I make it happen. All right, so that's it for today. Thanks a lot. If you have any specific questions, please go ahead and type it in the chat box, and I can either answer it now if I get it in time, or if there's several of them, let's see, then I'd be glad to answer them. One of the things about the way this Google Hangouts works is there's a little bit of a delay, so let me ask you some key questions that you could maybe want some feedback on, or maybe you have a question for me on areas that you need help in with your planning. So one question is, a question I just asked you, is there things in your life that you started that you're not able to finish, that you never finished? Are there things like that? That's one question. Maybe if you have any feedback, just type it in. Is there any area in your life that you're moving in that you don't have a plan? That's a question I have for you. Are you moving forward with something when you don't have a solid plan? Do you not have goals? Another question I have, is your goals and your plan compatible with your core values? That's the third question I'm going to throw at you. You can just leave some feedback in the box below. Is this compatible with your goals? Are your plans and goals compatible with your values? My mistake. Okay. So one thing I would like to ask from you, I have put a lot of effort into this training. I've put a lot of effort with sharing my best information with you. I put the time to be in front of you, and it's truly a good thing that you showed up and stayed to watch the video and are here. And I want to just thank you for that. I put a lot into it, but you put a lot into investing in me by watching and just spending time here. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. Now with that, I would like to ask, if you think that this is valuable in any way, shape, or form, I would like for you to please forward this to some of your friends that might need some planning help. Someone that might need a little push in the right direction. You know, they might think you're being pushy. They might think that you're getting into their business, but a real friend will help them. And try to do it in a good way. Maybe you just send them I'm going to be sending an email with this video in it. Maybe you could just forward it and say, hey, there's some great tips in here. You could probably use them. Just forward it to them. Or, if you have some followers on Twitter, share it on Twitter. If you thought it was valuable, share it on Facebook. I really appreciate everything that you have done by investing in me, but you can take the time to help me, but also to help others by sharing. We want to get this kind of information in people's hands as much as we can. So, I'm going to be back again. I'm going to be sharing some trading plan things. This was an overall planning, but I'm going to be coming back with another hangout soon, so be looking for that. I'm going to be talking about my trading plan, and then I'm going to do another one talking about trading strategies. So I'm going to even go into how to create your own trading strategy. This is down the road. I'm going to be doing these on a regular basis, so please be looking for them. If you liked them, share them with other people. Once again, thank you. I'll be posting this on my website and in other areas, so you'll be able to get this later on. All right, well, thank you so much, and I have a great day. Thank you.